Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server, and today I'm starting things off in the loading screen because I just logged into my base where I logged out in the previous episode and instantly got about 1 frame a second. And I don't want to crash the server again. It stayed down for a very long time indeed yesterday, which I really apologise for. And I kind of need Exuma to remove the items from my base using some form of I don't know what. I've waited for about 2 hours, Exuma seems to be offline everywhere, so I'm just going to quickly check if the items are actually gone. No, they're still there, they're very much still there. They need to go. They really need to go. Problem solved. I was very briefly given a lava bucket on the spectator account. I placed it down, set fire to all of the items, and now 96,000 96,000 melon and pumpkins have been removed from my base. Can you imagine that number of items just sat on that block? No wonder the server rack pretty much caught fire. So I think pretty much all of you can guess what I'm going to be doing for part 1 of today's Hermitcraft episode. Fixing up that item transportation system. I'm getting rid of all of the water streams. We're not having water streams. I'm not risking that happening again. It is going to be hoppers. And we're going to place furnaces on top of them to hopefully reduce the amount of lag that causes. Whoa. I forgot how big this place was. I'm really excited to start work on the aquarium. And I've run out of hoppers again. This time 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Oh, come on. So there we go. 1 full item collection system done. Now all items that flow in from the system will drop down into this hopper and they will be transported across through the base and off into the other storage system on the other side of it. Now, of course, these hoppers could back up if they unload, potentially. I don't really know how that works, but it shouldn't cause horrendous quantities of lag on the server, which is better. That's better than killing it. Next, we have to gather up a whole bunch of furnaces to place on top of all of our hoppers, because apparently that reduces the amount of lag that they cause. If you have long hopper lines, if you place furnaces on top of them, that means that they don't check for items above them, they just transport the items across. I think that's how it works. I might have to look up some videos on it, but that should hopefully be just enough. Maybe we'll need a tiny bit more than that. And that should just about do it as well. So that is stage 1 of the process all done. These are picking up the items. Now we just need to mob-proof everything. And another thing that I've thought of is that the area surrounding the Guardian farm has to be made entirely of solid blocks. And this area here, which is pretty much the Guardian farm, obviously isn't, because we've got this tube running through it. So I think I'm going to have to fill in this space with even more blocks. Problem solved. No more mumbo jumbo crashing the Hermitcraft server. That was not brilliant, and neither was that flying. Oh, sometimes I worry about myself. Anyway, we have got a serious project to work on. The Aquarium project. Good heavens, this thing is gorgeous, isn't it? Absolutely love the way this thing looks. Now, I've been reading through all of your feedback. I think one of the main things that I really like the idea of is actually getting some pink terracotta involved. Because that does make... it is basically a coral. I need to do some research into what corals look like. That's definitely something that needs to happen. But yeah, 100% terracottas are definitely corals in terms of block color. Part 1 of this gargantuan building process is, of course, to actually start gathering up the resources. Now, over off in that direction, I have got myself 4 double chests. You can kind of see them right there. One of them is going to be for dark prismarine, one of them is going to be for the regular prismarine, one of them is going to be for prismarine bricks, the other half of that is going to be for prismarine bricks, and then half of that is going to be for sea lanterns. Slight issue, the squid farm has packed up on us, which means we no longer have huge quantities of ink just lying around. We've only got about half an inventory's full, and I think it's because, yeah, this guy has stopped moving. I don't actually know how to get it moving without flooding the entire thing with water. I think this should just about do it. So those are all the sea lanterns we have. This is all the dark prismarine we could possibly make with the squid ink that we actually had. This is all the prismarine bricks, and this is all of the regular prismarine. I've just realised we need a bunch of glass. I think instead of worrying myself about that sort of thing, I'm just going to get straight to it. And I'm going to try my best to kind of semi-copy the one that we have going on in my testing world. So we had a beach right here. This is where the big aquarium was, and we had a little aquarium off in that direction. And I'm just gonna try and piece it together. Hopefully we can end up with something that looks half decent. I've just fallen down, but that gives me a good opportunity to actually check out what exactly it is that I've built here. So I've got the sand down at the bottom. That's our little beach. And then we have this corner. Now, it looks a little bit too crazy. So I was going to make like a little circle up there, but I think so this is where the water is going to go, and I feel like we need to add... I don't know what we need to do here. So I would say I have now cleaned things up. And that looks pretty cool. Now, if you're wondering what that stone is, that's because I don't actually have any glass at this point in time, so that represents a glass tube that we're going to have. And I've added in a bunch of extra bulk around here, so it kind of merges into it. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Now, one thing that is going to become very apparent is lighting. This thing is going to become a mob spawner if we're not careful. So I'm going to have to chuck sea lanterns pretty much everywhere. Next up, I'm working on the entrance into this area. So you can see we've got our doorway. This is where we'll come through. And these chests mark the exact center. And there is my little chappy just placing in like a kind of arch. And I've also mapped out where our big first aquarium tube is going to be going. This is actually coming together really nicely. Like already, we kind of have like maybe 1/8 of the entire thing built. I am kind of struggling though. So I've put in like a little bit of water up there, and then we have this big tube here. And I'm just trying to work out how on earth I could do the tube. Maybe you just kind of go straight up and then merge it all in together and then drop this down. I think that might be the answer. And I know that didn't answer anything for you guys, but it's straight in my head now. I've just realised why my Guardian Farm water streams haven't been working that well. And it's because there's some Viva la Revolution banners in the back here. From that time that Cub Fan and Scar came by and just filled my base with propaganda. They must have been there for months. Now that those things are gone, this thing actually works and they can't shoot me anymore, which is always handy. And let's see. We should get... That's a satisfying noise. You just kill them all at once. I am loving this. I haven't looked at the build just yet, but I am absolutely loving this process. And the roof is looking really good. That's a nice looking arch. We've got an archway there. There's a tiny bit of water left up at the top, but nothing too big. And then I guess we'll have kind of like the bottom of this thing expanding out this way and then kind of pulling back around. I am covering lots of the resources, but as you saw earlier on, we do have quite a lot of this prismarine stuff, so that shouldn't be too bad. But this is looking insane. It's so massive and so cool. Oh, yes. But that's enough of that for the time being. Sadly, I have run out of time for today because of redstone projects, filming projects, and also the cylindrical pumpkin of doom that was sat underneath my base over there. So I'm actually going to try my best not to create more of those, but also get a whole bunch more resources. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to go over to the mob farm. That seems like a smarter idea. Is it me, or does the sound different? Does it sound slightly robotic to you? That's so weird. And we're back, and for the first time in forever, we have not been kicked. Now, I have just realised this thing has been running all night, so I apologise for any extra lag caused by that thing. But by the sounds of things, this has been running. We just shut it off. Now let's see how many items we have. Now, I'm a little bit scared for this one, because I guess this is probably the first ever overnight test. So I think we had 1 double chest of items. We now have 2, 3, 4, almost 5. Blimey. Well, these things have been absolutely killing it. Let's see how many arrows we have. I mean, for a man that doesn't carry a bow, I really do have a lot of arrows. I'm actually curious, how much sugarcane do we have? So we filled up to here. Still going. Okay, we filled up this one. We filled up to here, so we've done one full set of double chests, and we're now up to this section. That is good going. I wonder how many melons and pumpkins are over here. Oh yeah, that's right. Pretty much none, because the system overloaded and killed the server. We had 96,000 that were meant to come into this storage system that just never made it. That's hilarious. Anyway, after that little break in the project, I think it's time to get back down to business and start work on doing this side over here. So I kind of want to get this corner done, and then we'll work on the next segment, maybe up to the back end of the beacon, or maybe up to about here. That's kind of where I want to get to today. I think that's like a fairly realistic goal. So I have another plan for a big tube off in this corner. I've added in this tiny section of land right here, and then it kind of wraps around like this, and we're gonna have like a really big aquarium tube. And a lot of you have been suggesting that I get an Elder Guardian. I like this idea, but I have a feeling it will give me mining fatigue. If there's any way that I can make it not give me mining fatigue, then I'm all for it. But otherwise, unfortunately, I think we might have to give that one a miss. Oh, I should have thought of this. I so should have thought of this. No! Ah! I'm just gonna run away. That's not fair. That's genuinely not fair. That skeleton shot the creeper and the creeper blew up. Thankfully, I think it's only on the stone. But still, that's so ridiculous. Despite our little explosion, we now have extra stuff going up and over like this, and we're going to build this area over here. So I think this is the line that I'm going up to at this point in time, and I'm going to go up to this line as well, and I think that will mark about 1/3 of the entire thing fully built and constructed. We're doing really well today. And this just about does it. I'm going to say sea lantern there, maybe some dark prismarine on this side, and some bricks. So, this is it. This is what we have. Oh man, it looks wicked. If we actually take a step back, that is a good start. A big start, very big. But that's looking cool. So there's one, there's another aquarium, there's a tiny one up there, there's also a small one up there. And then when we come down to this area, I'm going to have like a bigger beach zone. In fact, all of this should be beach, all the way back to about here. And then we're going to have all the sugarcane. And one thing that a lot of you have been saying is chorus fruit. I think that's a great idea. They're like the perfect corals, because I was really struggling with those when I was doing all of the designing. But all in all, I am chuffed to bits. Absolutely chuffed to bits. Well, we've got a bunch more things to work on. I want to extend this thing out to, as I say, around about here-ish, maybe slightly further along. So then in the next episode, we can kind of round it off and get it finished. But you know what? I think I'm fed up with progress updates. It's time for a bit of a third-person time-lapse. So in today's time-lapse chat, I want to give you some updates on some projects. Some of them in the past, some of them happening right now, and some of them happening in the very near future. So the first update that I want to give on a past project is to do with the bundles. The little mascot guy, the little plushy dude, the spoon t-shirt, and also the Mumbo spoon poster. Those are now fully shipped out. They will be arriving very shortly. If it hasn't arrived yet, then you probably live quite far away, in which case it is currently in transit, and it will be at your home very shortly. I've been seeing all of the posts on Twitter. You guys have been sending me pictures of you standing with all your items, and thank you ever so much. A, to everyone that's sending the photos, but B, to everyone that ordered them, because it really does mean the world to me. The next thing that I want to mention is about 2 weeks ago, I did a video with the DJI Phantom 4 Pro Plus Obsidian Edition drone. DJI sent it over to me, and I produced a video, uploaded it to YouTube, and they actually liked the video so much. This wasn't really expected, but I sent it off to them. They liked the video so much, they circulated it around the company, all of the team seemed to like it, that they're actually going to do an article on it that is going to be posted on the DJI website, which obviously is fantastic and totally unexpected. So I'm very, very happy that that's gone down so well, and I'm looking forward to working with them more in the future. I actually have loads of DJI stuff currently sat in my studio that I'm going to be making a video on soon. So that's all extremely exciting. Which kind of brings me on to my next point of this next week being extremely exciting. On Thursday and Friday, a big technology company are coming over to the studio to film with me. I'm not doing any filming, they want to film and chat with me, which is something that I never thought I'd be saying, and I'll give more updates when I can. I don't actually know how much I could say about this. But then the following Monday, I'm heading up to London to go to CVP, which is a big camera seller in London, and we're going to be talking about potential new additions to the camera equipment that we have for the filming channel, and that's entirely made possible by the bundles that we produced. I always said that those bundles would directly fund new equipment for the filming channel, and that's what's going to be happening. So we've kind of come full circle here. We've gone right the way around the Timelapse chat. Now let's pop back onto the Hermitcraft server. And there we go. This is it so far. This looks really good. I know I've said that quite a bit throughout today's episode, and I'm really trying my best not to blow my own trumpet here, because you know how I feel about my builds. I'm not the most confident builder in the world, but I am liking how this is coming together. I feel like the shapes are flowing quite nicely, and we have obviously this central point right here, and then we have this kind of flowing area, then we have this other big one that's kind of molded into the wall, and this one's quite cool. If we take a look at this one over here, I kind of decided to do a new type of one, which is like a bobble in the floor, so we can stand on top of that glass and look down into the Guardians. That's kind of the plan right there. I also took some of your suggestions in building some stalactites. Or is it stalagmites? I can't remember. The word that keeps coming to mind is stromatolites, which is something completely different. It was one of the earliest living things on the planet. Really interesting. You should totally look them up, but that's not what this is. Yeah, you should probably correct me down in the comment section. Anyway, now that we've done a little bit of geology, I think it's geology, I'm forgetting all my words today, we've got to head off and try and find ourselves some chorus plants, because I want to see how well they work as corals inside our little aquarium area. Award for the most useful sign on the Hermitcraft server goes to this one. Thank you. I just had to check if it was just hiding something away back there. I can confirm that there is actually nothing there. Well, I've come through to the end in the hopes of getting chorus plants, thinking that these end islands were covered in them, and there is one. This one right here. Now, I can't remember. Oh, that is just the greatest thing on the planet. How do I plant these things? No, I don't want to eat it. I can't remember. I'm also going to make the assumption that this end city has been raided. Yeah, by the look of things it has. I was about to say I am the luckiest man on the planet. Oh! I really should have done some research before I came home from the end. It turns out that I've been wiping out those chorus plant type things, thinking that I was getting the right stuff, when actually, I need the chorus flower, which is right at the very top of them. Such a moron. So I think this is what I'm going for. Okay. Chorus flower. So that's the thing that we have to place, and that's the thing that we're going to be planting. Alright, that makes sense. So I guess we could have one here. That looks good. One down at the bottom here. That'll look quite cool. Our one over there has decided to start growing. That's a good sign. Now, one thing about these is that they can't get next to blocks, can they? Like, as soon as a block goes next to that arm, it will break. So I'm assuming it won't break itself. That would be a little bit daft. But what do you think? Do you think these are going to look good? I suppose we'll see once they're all fully grown up. A lot of them are increasing in size now. We seem to... These things grow pretty quickly. I've tried my best to fill in the area. I've added a whole bunch of them in. I like it. I quite like it. I think maybe we need... I'm trying my best to work out where they should go. Like there, that will probably do. I also want some slightly wackier, crazier shapes. Like right now, we're getting a lot of straight up ones, which is fine. But I want some madness. I want some crazy, you know, that old screensaver that we used to have on Windows 95. That sort of thing going on. I feel a bit old saying that. I'm sure most of you don't actually remember. So, some of them are stopping now. Yeah, that one's just stopped. Okay, that one's still growing. That's good. That one's stopped. That's a rubbish coral. We have got ourselves a pretty rough, but I suppose you don't want them all to be crazy. It's quite nice to have the old one like that. But yeah, this is good. Liking it. Good idea. Thank you ever so much for all of the suggestions. You guys are the best. You really have helped out this project, and I'm looking forward to continuing it in the future. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please sure to that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. You know what to do. You've heard me say it enough. Film on the filming channel. End screen.